Hey everybody, my name is Nate and you're watching WASD 20. Today we are going to be creating a character for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And I just recently got the player's handbook. Last time, on my first character creation video, which I will put a link to down the bottom left, I used the basic rules, free PDF, which is really nice. But since then, I have got the player's handbook, so now I've got all the options. One of the reasons I was excited about this is because I get to use this. This is a fistful of dice. Matt made this, so if you don't know, I'll put a link down to his website. He's got a great YouTube channel, and he made this. It's a nice little resource that I thought I would love to use this, but I don't have the player's handbook yet. So now I do. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is rolling for class, because I just can't wait. I need to know now. Alright, so last time I made a fighter, so if I get a fighter, I'm going to re-roll. But let's see. 5. Fighter. Alright, let's try again. 2. Bard. Okay, so we're going to be making a bard. Get my character sheet here, and there we go. Alright, bard. Next step is to roll for race. So this, I'll be using a d12 once again. 5. I think this is a weighted dice. Rock gnome. Alright. Rock gnome. Alright. Next up, we're going to be rolling for background. For this, I'm going to be rolling a d20. 7. Folk hero. Well, that's probably kind of appropriate for a bard. We'll read more about these very soon. Folk hero. Alright. Without further ado, let's get going. In the player's handbook, this all starts on page 11, creating a character. And this is also, there's a version of this very similar in the free PDF. But for us now, let's take a look. And first step, choose a race. We've already done that. But now we need to write in some of our bonuses and such for that race and get more info. Let's go over to the races section. Alright, and gnome is on page 35. So we can read all about this, and there's some good stuff here that would help kind of you figure out and learn more about gnomes. Probably help you roleplay quite a bit, so I'd recommend reading those. But for us, we're going to skip to the significant part, the gnome traits down here at the bottom of page 36. So, ability score increase. First off, it says that we get an intelligence score increase by 2. And so I'm going to just write next to intelligence for now a little +2 there to remind myself. I'm not going to worry about age right now, and I'm not going to worry about alignment right now either. Let's go back up here. Size, gnomes are going to be small. Speed, your base walk speed is 25 feet. Dark vision, you're accustomed to life underground. See in dim light within 60 feet. Alright, I'm just going to write dark vision here on my features and traits. And then I'll make a note this is on page 37 if I need to get more info on what exactly that means. Gnome cunning, you have advantage on all intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws against magic. Okay, so I will say advantage. Alright, so I've just kind of abbreviated what they have there. And then languages, you can speak, read, and write Common and Gnomish. So that would go down to the bottom left here. Subrace. 2 subraces of gnomes are found among the... Yep, so I already know which one I am. I am not a forest gnome. I am a rock gnome. And I think those are the only 2. Let me see if there's more. Yep, those are the only 2 for gnome. So, rock gnome. You can read a little about it here, but again, I'm going to skip to the statistic significant part. And that is Constitution score increases by 1. That's pretty cool. And Artificers lore, whenever you make an intelligence or history check related to magic items, alchemical objects, or technical devices, you can add twice your proficiency bonus instead of any proficiency bonus you normally apply. So that's a little complex. I'm actually going to just write that in here. Artificers lore. page 37. And if I forget what it means, I can go take a look at that. Tinker. You have proficiency with artisan tools, tinker tools. Using these tools, you can spend 1 hour. Alright, so I just read through this section for the first time, and it sounds actually pretty cool. It was a little confusing at first, but basically, I can spend some gold and some time to create a little toy of some sort, a clockwork toy, a fire starter, or a music box, things that will prove useful in certain situations, I think. So, you never know when these things are going to come in handy. Cool little picture here of a gnome tinkering. Gotta love it. Alright. Anyway, we're moving on now. That was it for the race. Now, if we go back to page 11, the next step is choose a class. And so, for class, we are going to skip over to Bard. Here we go. Bard begins on page 51. Alright, so you can read all about Bard here. Enjoy the wonderful artwork. But again, I'm going to skip to the section that's more significant for my stats. So, hit dice, 1d8 per Bard level. So I'm going to write in this part of my character sheet right here, 1d8. Hit points at first level, 8 plus your Constitution modifier. I don't have that yet, so I'll just have to remember. Maybe I'll make a note in pencil here. 8 plus Con. Alright, so I made a little note there in my hit points. Moving on. Proficiencies, light armor. So I'm going to write down here in my proficiencies section near my languages, light armor, simple weapons, hand crossbows, alright, so I've written down my proficiencies there. So it's not just simple weapons, I do have a couple martial weapons, which is nice. Alright, next up, it says here that I have saving throws, dexterity, and charisma. So that just means I'm going to be able to add my proficiency bonus to these saving throws now that I've got them checked there. Alright, and then skills, choose any 3. Alright, I'm going to hold off on that because according to my background, which is folk hero, it might actually give me some skills, and I want to make sure I'm not doubling up, and I pick different ones. So we'll come back to that. But I guess I should just make a note, 3 skills right there. Alright, moving on. We're going to go to this handy-dandy chart here on page 53, and for the Bard, it's a little bigger than some of the other ones, because we do get some spells. But at first level, my proficiency bonus is 2, and that is true actually for all classes. At first level, we also get spellcasting and Bardic Inspiration, d6. 2 cantrips, 4 spells total known, and 2 first level spell slots. So, I'm going to go ahead and take care of the spellcasting and Bardic Inspiration now. For Bardic Inspiration, it says you can inspire others with stirring words or music. To do so, you use a bonus action on your turn to choose one creature other than yourself within 60 feet of you who can hear you. That creature gains 1 Bardic Inspiration die, a d6. Once within the next 10 minutes, the creature can roll the die and add the number rolled to 1 ability check, attack roll, or saving throw it makes. The creature can wait until after it rolls the d20 before deciding to use the Bardic Inspiration die, but must decide before the DM says whether the roll succeeds or fails. Once the Bardic Inspiration die is rolled, it is lost. A creature can have only 1 Bardic Inspiration die at a time. And there's more. You can use this feature the number of times equal to your Charisma modifier, a minimum of once. You regain any expended uses when you finish a long rest. Your Bardic Inspiration die changes when you reach certain levels in this class. The die becomes a d8 at 5th, etc., etc. So anyway, that's pretty cool. I like that. It's a way to kind of buff your party a bit. So for now, I'm just going to write Bardic Inspiration. And for now, it is a d6. Next up, so we got spellcasting ability. We know we can cast spells. Now we need to choose cantrips and some first level spells, a total of 4 spells known. So I'm going to pause the video here. I'm going to read about the spells, which I actually haven't done yet, and then I'll come back and show you what I've chosen. Alright, so I've spent some time reading about the rules of magic, which I would recommend reading. There's a chapter on that. And then picking spells from the spells list. And so this was back on chapter 11, if you're wondering. There's a list of bard spells. And so from the cantrips, I decided to pick Friends, which is sort of a way to, well, maybe be a little more charismatic and trick people into liking me more, that sort of thing, or convincing them of something. And Minor Illusion. Then for the, I get 2 cantrips, and by the way, cantrips are spells that I can cast at will as many times as I want. Alright. For my first level spells, I picked Bane, which is a way of kind of affecting negatively a creature that is attacking me, or an enemy. Detect Magic, which is always useful. Disguise Self, which I just kind of like the idea of that. And Healing Word, which allows me to roll a d4 and heal an ally. Alright, the Bard, just so you know, every casting class works a little differently, but for a Bard, first off, the Bard is the master of music and storytelling and kind of an entertainer, but certain entertainers have found this ability to basically find magic in their music. So a Bard actually casts by making music, I suppose. And as such, they don't need to memorize spells. Think of these as almost like different songs that a Bard knows. And I don't need to prepare, as a wizard might have to just select a couple that they have prepared for that day. For a Bard, I get 2 of these before a long rest. So, and I don't have to pick that ahead of time. I can just pick any 2 of these. Alright, so that's just a little note on how that works, but there's a lot more to learn about magic, and so I recommend reading those chapters. By the way, this is the 3rd sheet in the character sheet that is available as in the free PDF as well as here in the Player's Handbook, but you can find it online pretty easily. So this one is for magic. Alright, now that I have the magic figured out, oh, and by the way, I would recommend making spell cards too. They're going to be selling some of those soon, but for me, I just make them on note cards. These are some that I made for a Pathfinder game that I'm GMing. And so, yeah, you can just write down some of the basics on note cards and also write down the page number. For me, I just wrote down the page number for now and would go back and make note cards for those spells later. Alright, let's go back to our steps of character creation. I think that we have chosen our class. Yes, we are up to the step now of determining our ability scores. And so the way I'm going to do that is by rolling 4 6-sided dice and recording the total of the highest 3 on a scrap piece of paper. Alright, so there are other options. You can use the standard point array there, or you can use the point buy system, which I won't go into details now, but I love rolling for my scores. So here we go. Alright, looks like I got 11 there. Alright, so I'm done rolling my ability scores, and not looking too good. But, oh well, that's what I get for rolling randomly. My last one was insanely good, so this one, I guess, evens it out. Oh well. Alright, so now I need to figure out where I'm going to put these. For each class, they do give some recommendations under the quick build section, and I do like to follow these. Unless you have a lot of knowledge and have a very specific idea of how you want your character to work, I recommend using their recommendations for the build. So some people will go straight down the line and use that to determine their class, but since we've already chosen our class, I do want to stick with their recommendations. So they recommend that Charisma be our highest, so I'm going to make that a 14. Next, they say Dexterity, and for that we will make our 11. And then we're going to make Strength a 10, Constitution a 9, Intelligence a 9, oh wait, plus that 1, so that's going to be actually a 10. Intelligence will be a 9, plus 2, makes it 11, and then wisdom will be a 10. All right, so we've assigned our ability scores, and now we need to find out what our modifiers are. And the list of modifiers here in the player's handbook is on page 13. So, for our 10 and 11, which we've got a lot of, it's going to be plus 0. So at least it doesn't hurt us. So now that is going to apply to our skills, and some of these are also going to apply to things like armor class. It's also going to apply to, now that we have our charisma bonus, we can apply our spell save DC. This is how hard it is for enemies to, make a save against our spells. So 8 plus 2 plus my charisma modifier, which is 2, makes for 12. Spell attack bonus is 2 plus, which is my, by the way, the 2 comes from my proficiency bonus, which is a plus 2. So 2 plus charisma is 4. So my spell attack bonus is 4. I have to add that to my spell damage. All right. Then I'm going to go ahead and look at the next step here, describing your character. And I'm not going to assign these yet because some of them are going to, I haven't selected my skills yet, and some of these are going to change. But these are obviously going to apply to some of my skills there. All right. Okay, so chapter 4 here on page 121 of the player's handbook is going to tell us about background. So we're going to be able to determine things like name, sex, height and weight, and I'm going to go ahead and skip this stuff for now, and skip again to more of the, statistic-related stuff. So alignment, I'm going to skip that for now too. We'll go with alignment, sure. I've thought about it a little bit, and I think I want to play a neutral good character. So earlier, when I was making some of my rolls, I rolled for the folk hero background. So we're going to skip to that right now. Okay, here's folk hero on page 131. And actually, I thought this was a little more, I don't know why, I think like folk singer. I don't know why, but anyway, it's a little different. That would the one that's more bard appropriate might actually be entertainer. But we'll see what folk hero has to offer us here. It might make us a little more unique as a bard. Alright, so the first thing we want to look at is these skill proficiencies. But just so you know, folk hero, it says, you come from a humble social rank, but you are destined for so much more. Already the people of your home village regard you as their champion, and your destiny calls you to stand against the tyrants and monsters that threaten the common folk everywhere. Alright, what a hero. So, skill proficiencies, here it says animal handling and survival. Animal handling and survival. Alright, so now I get to add my proficiency bonus to those. Alright, let's see what else we have. Tool proficiencies, one type of artisan tools, vehicles, land. Alright, so we have, I can choose a type of artisan tool that I want to be proficient in. Equipment, a set of artisan tools, one of your choice. A shovel, an iron pot, a set of common clothes. So I would want to record this in my equipment section. I'm not going to do that right now. I am going to skip over to artisan tools and just take a look at what I might want. And I'll be back. Okay, so I've taken a look at that, and I've decided I'm going to go with the woodcarver's tools. And therefore, it says that that'll be my proficiency. I'll be proficient with woodcarver's tools. So I can write that right here. All right. Next up, so equipment, I would have again recorded that below here. But now, defining event. So we get to roll some dice. Hooray! I love it when they let us roll dice. So a defining event, I'm going to roll for these, and after I do that, I'll come back and show you what I got. Alright, so I went ahead and recorded all of these personality traits. Apparently I had a change of course in my life. I stood alone against a terrible monster at some point, and that put me on my current course. I have a strong sense of fair play and want equitable solutions. Sincerity is my ideal, no good pretending to be something I'm not. And bonds, I protect those who cannot protect themselves. And my flaws, I have a shameful secret that those who knew me when I was young know about, so I can't go home. Alright, so that's stuff that can really help you roleplay and kind of flesh out the character. Alright, let's go back to our steps now. The next step here for us is Chapter 5, Choosing Equipment. So let's take a look here at Chapter 5. Alright, and the place we start is by rolling for gold. So it says for a bard we get to roll 5d4 times 10 for our gold. Big money. Alright, so we got 4 plus 3, 7 plus 4 is 11, 12, 13. So 130. Not terrible, not great. So I'm going to make a note of that down here, that we have 130 gold pieces. Alright, now I'm going to go to the section on equipment and I'm going to pick my stuff. So I'll be back when I'm done. Alright, and I'm back. Different location, different day. My laptop actually died, so I had to pack it in for that night, but here I am back again. So I did pick my equipment, and so I'm going to go through this and kind of record some stuff here. So I like to do this on a scrap piece of paper and then write it more neatly in my equipment section, my armor and weapons and such. So for me, I have studded leather, so that has an armor, gives me an armor class of 12, plus my dexterity bonus, which is 0. So armor class is just 12. Alright, and studded leather. Alright, for my weapons, I chose a rapier, a dagger. My rapier, my attack bonus is going to be +2 because I get to add my proficiency bonus, but I don't get any strength or dexterity bonus. Okay, so attack bonus +2. So you could add your strength or dexterity, I believe, with the rapier. They're both 0 for me, so whatever. And then damage is just going to be 1d8 plus nothing. Piercing. Dagger is also +2, because I believe that's a simple weapon and I'm proficient in simple weapons. And the damage there will be 1d4 plus nothing. Piercing. Alright, so yeah, this guy, perhaps not the most effective in combat, mostly because of my rolls there, but that's the way it goes when you are playing the random game of rolling dice. Alright, other than that, I picked up an explorer's pack, which has some of the basic things you would want. It has rope, very useful. I also got a grappling hook. It has bedroll, rations, water skin, other very useful things. And I got a lyre because, well, I'm a bard and I should have an instrument. So I decided to go with this beautiful stringed instrument, the lyre. Alright, so I'll record some of this here, but that's basically it, and it is helpful also to, I didn't do this, but put a page number probably by the packs just so you can have a quick reference and you don't have to write everything down for what they have. Alright. Next up, we're going to be kind of tying up some loose ends. If you were to go to the instruction page on how to create a character, I think the next step is actually just like form your party or something like that. Yeah, choose equipment and then come together. So I am going to just kind of finish up some things here. Hit points I don't have yet here, so I'm going to do that right now. Hit points are my 8 plus my constitution bonus, which is 0, so it's just going to be 8. Alright, and then temporary hit points we don't need. So one of the things I need to do is choose my skills yet. I only have the 2 so far from background, so I've gone back to the Bard page here on page 52 actually, under class features. It says skills, choose any 3, and so that's in addition to my background skills. So I'm going to be choosing 3, and I could try to compensate for some of my weaknesses here, or I could build on my strengths. So that's kind of the debate here. But for me, I think I am going to use history. That just seems to fit with my idea of my character being a bard. And so I'm going to add my proficiency bonus there, which is +2. I'm also going to go for perception, just because I always like to be aware of my surroundings, and I think it just helps a lot. for a character to have good perception. And other than that, I think I'm going to go for persuasion and build on one of my strengths there. So I have +2 charisma modifier, +2 proficiency bonus for +4 total. This one, wisdom, +2. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in the rest of my saving throws and my skills now, and I'll see you in a minute. Alright, so now I have all my skills filled out. One thing I have to fill out yet is passive wisdom, and that is going to be based, I think, on my perception. So let's see here, perception +2, and my wisdom bonus would normally be +0, but I think I get to add this. So it's usually 10 plus your perception, so that's 12. It's my passive perception. And other than that, oh, my initiative, I still have to do that. That's another thing I forgot, is +0. So I don't get to add anything to my d20 roll there. Alright, the only thing that's really left for me is to select a name. So I'm going to go to the gnomes section. Gnome names, here we go. Take a look at the list here. I'm going to select something and I'll be right back. Alright, so I took a look at the list of names here and decided to go with Orin for a first name and clan name Murnig. So Orin of Clan Murnig. Cool. Alright, other than that, I think this character is all done. So I've got my spells here, and I've got my the rest of my character sheet good to go. Of course, I would probably want to determine some of the things like age, height, eyes, etc. Maybe draw a picture or find a portrait. But for now, this is good enough. So, this has been my Building a Bard. Hope you've enjoyed it. More character classes coming soon. If you have any suggestions for future classes, leave them in the comments below. Yeah, I'm just enjoying this, so thanks for joining me. And any comments or questions, leave them below. Thanks again. Bye.